Hi class, this is your video feedback for your professional site. And I have to say, I was really excited when I first looked at these. And I am going to go through as if I haven't looked at them. I'm going to look at them as a first-time user and see how it's functioning and things. But you guys really pulled together your brand, and you started with your style guide, you moved it to your strategy, and then you implemented it into your site, which was exactly what you should do, but don't always see it happen. So I was really, really happy to see these. So you weren't expected to have anything complete. You've only had a week to prepare and build this particular site. So, and you will change over the next year. You'll have more work, you'll grow, and you'll have another, you know, opportunity to revisit this and any other means of delivery for your skill sets. So, let's jump in. Um, yeah, you continued with your style. And, little things like this and this, we need to make sure that we have the same grid-based layout throughout. You'll get rid of this, all this, right? So there's a lot of scrolling, but this is right. Take those blocks out. Um, this is hard to read, it's too small. So this is great. We see exactly what you do. I love that. But really, you just need the tea time. And maybe if you're looking at this kind of flourishing in some sense, maybe that's what needs to be here. Something like this. Not quite that long, but one of those. Um, yeah, and then that's all you would need, like up here in a font, tea time. If you want to make it in pink or, make this, teal or vice versa, or these two colors here. But that's what needs to happen there if you're going to go in that direction. Instead of this bold font, it's a little hard to read when it's in paragraph text. Also, when we have more than 2 or 3 lines, we need to left align. Okay, I want to see that whole picture. I keep thinking that my screen isn't working, and maybe it's not, and that's true. So here's the thing: when I look on my Chrome at full size, it's cropped. So you want to check it out at different browsers to see what it looks like. But that's what's happening there. So let me zoom out a little bit and see what maybe you meant for it to be like. Again, that's small. Beautiful photo. I feel like you did something with the glasses, but okay. Just watch your spacing, all right? Make sure all your spacing is equal, both horizontally and vertical. When we put thumbnails, this is working. But when we do this here and we are actually cutting off that, it's better just to remove it for your thumbnail somehow. We don't want to crop things, even in our thumbnail. I know if I selected it, it would bring me up to something large. I do really like this. That's pretty cool. When we do that, okay, I know that it makes it a full screen, but we still have to think about our thumbnails, everybody, okay? And that's particularly true when we talk about films, so that we don't have video overlapping content or titles, and it doesn't here. It's all good. We do want these to be the exact same size, right? So that one's a little bigger. Things like that are really important. This one works, but when we get to, and this one definitely works, but when we get to this one, it's cut off, and then the round ones, that's not working. The shape isn't working. It's not consistent. Might as well make this, and you should, the same width as these. Okay, really important. We have some hierarchy problems here in that this is because it's has more words. It's smaller than the next one. They need to be the same. What that means is you have to take, if you must use all of this, then every other title needs to be this size. So you would start with your longest and make sure that the rest are that size if you have to use this. Otherwise, you would edit this down, whatever that title would be, and make sure they all fit. But they all have to be the same, all right? Same thing here. I feel like this is bolded and maybe just not bolded, and maybe not italicized. Those two things, bold and italic, is really reserved for emphasis. And so if we are saying that this is all emphasized, then nothing here is really emphasized because it's all the same. Just a little hard to read. I imagine when we go on to mobile at some point, these are going to start to close up. When we get smaller and smaller, they're going to close up. So keep that in mind. Make sure they're all the same size, same spacing. All right. Also here, make sure we're center aligned on everything as far as your headers. All right, but the style is working, get rid of all this. Yeah, just a few changes, space here. Probably want this to be full instead of having this gray background here. You want to make this the full width. All right, great start. Okay. Yeah, good. All right, easy to read. This is working. This is good. It's the contrast isn't quite there yet, but it works. It's not something to really think about. You may not need this here. I think instead, you could just have it on your contact page. Okay, so let's not put that there. And yeah, you could put it down here. Would be fine. If somebody were to look for it, they would contact you here, and this is working. This is all working. But let's take that off. And this is beautiful. If it's yours, so make sure that everything is yours. And okay, good. Okay, so this is cut off, but it's not too bad. I can still read it. It still makes sense. Good. Make sure you put Adobe because in search engines, you want to make sure that comes up. Okay, Premiere Pro, good. Okay, align. This needs to be aligned with this. Okay. It's kind of okay that this isn't, only because it feels like it is. I mean, this isn't exact, but it feels like it isn't, that this is just cut out above it because it's not blocked out. But do align your floating titles there. Okay. Do you need that? I'm not sure it's the most striking. And this is a great image. I love the look here. Do you want, yeah, I mean, maybe you want to bring it up and left align. If you're going to have this, it needs to align here and still have, it's best to have the same amount of spacing around an image like this, like that would then come to here. But really, it would probably be here because this is kind of floating by itself. So consider, Rachel, making it left aligned and bringing that up. But I'm going to trust you on that one because you're doing a great job. But we do have this empty line here, and that's not quite working. Okay, spacing isn't quite right visually, is it? All right, nice work. This is connected to you, and I'm hoping that this brand follows. Okay, so that's what you're going to want to do. It's a good selection, but you want to put your brand here. All right. All right. Good job. See what I mean? You guys are carrying over your style from your style guide, and it's really nice that you're doing that. Okay. Good. Okay. See exactly what you do. Okay. A little grainy, but you know, and here's something to think about. Usually, it doesn't mean we always do, but typically we have an image that is facing this way. It has us facing off the page, and so we would put this on the left and have this on the right. So it's looking into the page rather than taking us off the page. This probably needs to have a little less space here. You see this space, bring that over a little, but it's you know, aesthetically, the colors and everything and the feel is great. I would like to see this a little less grainy, and this brought over a little bit. Okay, but you're being consistent, and that's awesome. Okay, I I want to see this come up a little bit. I want to get into this a little sooner, like this. Okay, shots are good. Okay, case studies. Might want to left align these. Okay. Okay. Good. Got spacing, which makes a big difference. Works with your brand. Okay. Uh, I kind of, being right-handed, and I know that's not everyone. I feel like I have to, when I'm scrolling here, I have to go like all the way over here to click. Just, it's not important. It's often on the left. Um, just something to think about. If you find that you try it over here and you like it, um, then that would probably be ideal because you don't have content here either. Okay. All right, this blue is kind of yeah. So um, I see this is sharp, but really, and it's good that we can't read, but we know that's Gucci. Um, for copyright purposes, it's good that we can't read it. But if you're going to be, as you say, a stylist and a writer, we still want to see quality shots. This is sharp, but the rest isn't. So I think you can come up with another shot and definitely take that blue background out. This is not fitting with your brand exactly. I don't know if it's this gold here, but something's not quite right. And so this is good. You have options as far as the different icons that Wix will give you, but it's looking good. It's working. Um, yeah, see, here's a case where this being right next to this isn't as great. Yeah, but it's okay. I mean, otherwise it's going to be covered up here unless you have this cut. But you've got a great job, and it's you know, really consistent, and I love that. I do want to see, if you're a writer, I want to see examples of writing. You, so these are photos, and I'm not seeing writing examples. I'm assuming that you styled these. I don't know. So I need to have a little bit about what you did. I see what it is, but I want you, over the next year, you're going to start collecting examples of shoots that you've styled and other things that you've styled, and some writing examples, all right? But visually and aesthetically, it's just working really great, okay? Great start. Okay, what I want to see you do, fun. Good. Do try to have things aligned, grid-based. I like this background a lot. Let's try not to have one word by itself. It doesn't work when we put a photo over another very sharp photo that doesn't have a lot of depth. I mean, really, I'm looking at this, and this is on top of it. But you see, because it's got words, it's a place, so that and this background, these backgrounds don't relate to your work. So your about page, probably you shouldn't have a parallax scrolling. I do like this, but it doesn't work here at all. So that needs to be either all black and bring this over to the right and put your written content here. And you'll probably need some space to, make this all black background and put this as your image on the right and write about yourself. And probably put something here. Okay. But it's all right. You're going to have more work. You're going to have more work. So it's going to be all right there. This background, eventually you'll want to look for something that you can put there instead. Something similar. It's very nice and sharp, and yet it doesn't demand our attention. It's just sort of, still supporting this, which is awesome. The highlights and the eye. And we see exactly what it is you want to do. And black and yellow are always commanding combinations, but this is very common. That's the only thing. So you do want to think about what kind of background, and if you're a creative director, you'll be able to find something and film it yourself. The other thing is, however, a straight shot might be better because videos take a long time to load and refresh. So think about that. All right, so here you want to make sure that you have things in order so that if I go projects, okay, and about, let's see, okay, it is in order, okay. Okay, comma here. We need this, take the word for out and see if you can get clothing up here, or clothing consultant, creative clothing consultant, or creative clothing for, somehow try and get this reworded. Just take the clothing off if you're going to say it like this here and like this, that's fine. Take that off so it's not by itself. Let's have, maybe you want this in the same style and font as this and this to be the same. You will want to do something about these because I do not think these are yours, right? But they're great for you to look at and get some inspiration and maybe, start to collect or create some things like this, all right? It's a nice sampling of what would be in your portfolio, something to consider. But this is the template, so that we have to get rid of. All right? But you're doing great. You're not required. And who knows, maybe once this is out and this comes out, maybe that's going to be fine. It's working on your mobile. It's just on the desktop. This seems to float. I don't know that it's aligned exactly. The spacing here versus the spacing here, you want to be consistent with here and here. All right. Things to think about. You've got time. Okay. What about that? All right. Great job. Great start. Okay, Jaylene. I see exactly what your name is and what you want to do, and that's awesome. And I also recall that this fits in great with your brand. I love that. Left align this. This is kind of okay here. I think it makes a funny shape and probably needs to be left aligned, so therefore you're probably going to want to left align that too. Excuse me. If you only had a few lines, it would be okay. And if you could make this a better shape, it might be okay because you don't have anything else going on. But generally, this much, you're going to have it left aligned to be clean. I think you need a little space there. And you guys make sure you're working on LinkedIn too, okay? So the next year, make sure you add a LinkedIn. You can add all of your resume content there and then copy it over here in the same order and sequence, and you'll know they match up. But if you start it on LinkedIn, then it will have a nice template there for you to go by. You won't wonder, and it will be consistent. And that might be nice for you, okay, for your user. This needs space and padding for sure. Padding. And okay, these need to be centered. Okay, if you plan on putting LinkedIn here, okay, but otherwise do that. And probably close this up. I wouldn't put your number there if that's your number. You will have more spam than you already have. Update this for sure. Okay, so we need to get rid of any placeholders and probably cut this down to 2 paragraphs. This is, it's kind of cool, you know, to me, because I know these are the classes that you took. But if you're going to do it this way, then I think we need to separate these with making these more of a title, not really large, but it could be bold, it could be whatever. And an example of your work. That would work, okay? The spacing, the padding, we need a little more. And yeah, so think about that. Those are 2 ways to do it. Either separate these with some hierarchy with the course title, or cut it down to 2. You know, and you could just have a few. Okay, all right. And here you have your examples. So really, and that's good, but I think that these are templates, so they need to be replaced. And it'd be great above the scroll here that you have an example of, you know, one of these things here throughout, or 3 of them. Okay. 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 As you're moving forward and doing graphics, make sure that you're using the same fonts for a company's brand. This is looking good. Update that. Terrific start, though. You've got a good plan going. This is not the same font, so we want to be consistent. So limit your fonts. That off. Great start. You're not required to do your mobile at this point, but at this stage, but I do want to see it just out of curiosity. You'll work on that next year or when you get to web design. Okay, so that's where you'll have some samples. You could cut this down for sure. Just a few, you know. Here are a few of mine, courses and examples. Okay. All right, great job. All right, Brianna, you're carrying your brand over. I love it. Everybody's been doing that. Good choices here. We only need one set of, we only need one per page. So decide which one you want. We're getting a little busy here with a different font. Ideally, I'd like not to see a font here because this is so commanding and it's really pretty perfect, the spacing and everything, and it's working. This starts to work less. Maybe if it were in a gray and not in this font, because this is a display fonts and it's competing. A little bit of space here. And yeah, let's not do this. If you want to do this in the pink, maybe, but let's not go off on this other font. It's just a little much. And eventually you'll try and make things the same size, like 3 of these across the same size. That's a lot of content right there. And since it's not real, it's fictitious, I would cut that down. Just put the phone number or something like that, you know? Okay. I mean, I know why you want to put this here. I just think save it. You know, save it for one of your other projects or something. This S, and I want to tell you, you don't have to use the same S that they use. If it's, in some ways, it looks like it's cut off. It works up here okay, but you know, if you want to try a different font that has the same weight, the same roundness, and all of that, and works with it, you can go to fontjoy.com and put this font in and then try and find something that's very similar, because you have the choice to find something high in contrast or less contrast. And just see if there's an S that works better with this. We just don't want the user to have to work too hard, okay, to read anything. Okay, like the December was hard for me to read at first glance, and the twos. I mean, I know what it is, but it's making me feel like it's cut off. I know it isn't. So think about that. At least I don't think it is. All right, but otherwise you are right on. Yeah, yeah. If you really want the flow to go well, check out another S. All right. Nice work. Very nice. And like I say, you could play with something in this font, this color, if you want to put it there. I mean, I like it. I like the color and everything. It's too much right there. Okay. So then enough. Great job. Great job, Brianna. All right. Okay, so this you probably want to go in and remove the formatting so it doesn't have this background. Higher contrast here so we can see it a little better. You'll get a more professional image as time goes on through the through your degree. That will help. A little higher contrast here, and make sure that we're not overlapping content. That's hard to read when it's on the black. Okay, so we want to watch out for that. But you tell us exactly what you are. That's great. Let's take this space out, bring it up. You have Adobe, that's great. Let's not say that you don't have professional experience. This would be placeholder content. So instead, simply talk about what you do have, what you have worked in, or I am interested in. This is placeholder, take all that out. And I would say that you do have something, you have some schoolwork of some kind. If you got this far, you've got a couple of samples. You can just say, you know, just put that's why I say only 3. It's better to have 3 of your best work than a lot of work. But let's definitely take this off. Let's definitely not say that you don't have experience, because you have experience in something by the time you got here, I promise. All right. See, there you go. What? Yeah, see? You've got stuff, even if it's coursework. Let's not say this. Let's take this whole page off. How about that? Next year, you can add that. You can just have a skills page. That's all. Or just take this off and have projects. And in it, you're going to list the skill set. Okay. All right. Easy fix. Okay. This is commanding more attention than your name in a way. I would get rid of it. You'll have it here already and bring it up. So settle in on what your social icons are going to be, and take this off, your phone number. Okay. All right, so a little more work there. The follow me isn't linking to anything, so take it off. Okay. Just take off the resume page. You can put a skill set page if you want to keep this order. Change these colors. Change this color because I see this template a lot, and we want to make sure it doesn't feel so much like a template. You may want a solid color back here because this part's not quite working. All right, great start. I'm so excited for what you guys are doing, and I can't wait to see where you are a year from now. All right, good job, everybody.